We on? All right. I'll call the special magistrate hearing for May 27th, 2026 to order. First item, roll call, staff.
Holly New for the city. Michelle Ficacello, clerk to the magistrate.
And that's it for today. All right, minutes of our previous meeting of April 22nd. Any additions, deletions, corrections?
There were no changes from us.
All right, we'll consider those accepted as submitted. All right, how about our agenda? Any adjustments?
Yes, sir. Item 6E, that's citation P02477FB. She paid her fine yesterday.
All righty.
And
So that's
I'm pulling that from the agenda. And then item 6F, Mr. Bailey was going to appear as a telephonic appearance, but he is here in person.
Very well. Good. Okay, let me remove this one. Here. Okay, with that in mind, I'm going to make a little shuffle to the agenda, and I'm going to bring item 6A, and 6A would be first anyway, but I'm going to move 6C up as well because their nature of the violation is the same. Is Rosa Fragoso here? And is Robert Mastrello? Yeah, okay. All right. Ms. Fragoso, if you would, please. This is, for the record, case number P02566FB, Rosa Fragoso. And, ma'am, if you'd be sworn, please. Okay. And good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
If you would, please state your full name and your residence address for the record.
Rosa Fregoso, 16 Cloverdale Court, South Palm Coast.
Okay. Let me recite the citation so that we make sure we're talking on the same page here. On April 1st of this year, around 1:24 in the afternoon, you were cited for parking in the wrong direction at North 5th Street, just west of Ocean Shore Boulevard, and you were driving a Chevrolet Equinox.
Yes, sir.
Is that your vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in your submission for your appeal of that citation, you raised a couple of questions or issues. One, you're concerned about the expense, and you're saying there's no signs regarding parking in the wrong direction. And if I'm not mistaken, let's see, you live in Palm Coast.
Yes.
You're not a Flagler Beach resident, but
No.
all right. Well, before, and this would be applicable to you, sir, so pay attention. Before we talk about your wrong direction parking, guess what you need to know? In order to park as you did, you committed moving violations. You drove with the improper lane usage. You drove on the wrong side of the road. There's two moving violations. And then guess what? When you departed where you had parked, you did it at least 2 more times. And if it had been on A1A or somewhere where there's a double yellow, that would have been an additional violation ×2. So the fact that you're here only on a wrong direction parking citation is actually to your good fortune, because you would have accumulated immediately 12 points against your license and over $600 in fines for those violations. Now, with regard to your comment that there were no signs, guess what? Wrong direction parking is illegal by state statute. Signage is not required. You are expected to know what the law is, and it's not permitted anywhere. So, with all that said, I will add, the reason the fines are substantial is, guess what? The city commission grew tired of people parking illegally in various means and just paying minimal fines like it was a parking charge. So they made the decision, if you're going to do it, you're going to pay. So I am happy to hear what you have to say. I've read what you submitted, but it's a clear violation.
Yeah, I understand that, and I accept that I was wrong, and that's not the parking violation that I'm contesting, is the amount of it. At that time, I didn't think about the illegal move that I did, because it was very hard to find the parking.
Guess what? I parked at the police station, and in this 90-plus degree heat, walked up here this afternoon.
I know.
Yet, there's no parking. It's a problem. But
Yes.
Guess what? That's not going to change.
And then I saw the cars facing the same direction, and I'm like, oh, let me park over here before somebody takes it. And I don't think.
That was a clear decision.
I know.
Believe me, I am sympathetic to the dilemma of finding parking, because I deal with it when I come to. So that's understood. The amount of the fine, that's in the judgment of the city commission appropriate. However, I do have a little discretion, and I can, based on the fact that you're saying, I'm sorry, I did it. I did it out of desperation to find a parking lot. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you handicapped in any way? Okay. So, we can't go down that path. But here's what I'm willing to do. And this, unless there's some other factor that's aggravating, I would afford you the same, sir. And that is, there's two alternatives. I'll reduce the fine. I won't eliminate the fine. And you would pay whatever I determine is appropriate, plus whatever costs have been incurred is part of this appeal.
Yes.
But you can do a beach cleanup on a Saturday morning, which would be a 3-hour commitment, working with one of the city commissioners on the beach, picking up trash, or you can do an educational effort to explain, and I'm going to give you the background on that so that you understand the policy behind why wrong direction parking is illegal. And I'll give you a number of licensed drivers that you have to speak to, take their name, when you spoke to them, and you submit that back to the clerk under oath that you've accomplished it. You'd have a reasonable amount of time to do that. So you have those two alternatives. Now let me give you the policy. The moving violations that are involved reflect what? Safety concerns. The parking violation is because it's unsafe to do it. 2 reasons. People do not expect people to be diving across traffic to go into parking spots. They don't expect cars to be pulling out head on to them
Yes.
when they're parked in the wrong direction. You as a driver, when you are now on the side opposite or away from the roadway, are compromised in your ability to see what's going on in the roadway. That's why it's not allowed. And you know, you may think it's clear, you pull out, and all of a sudden there's a vehicle. And guess what? Could have an accident. Could be, you never know. There was a woman, very popular lady, in Ormond Beach that was killed a few weeks ago in a street where the speed limit is 25 miles per hour. It wasn't all about, high-speed roadway. It can happen right out here. Okay? We want to take care of you. We don't want you getting hurt. And we certainly don't want you to be involved in hurting anybody else. Okay?
I understand, and this is a good lesson for me. I will never do it again.
I'm sure you won't. My goal here is that you develop an understanding.
Of course.
That's the important part of this process, so that you appreciate why things are the way they are. And as far as understanding the law, I don't know all the laws, and I've been an attorney for decades, but the reality is ignorance is not an excuse. We are expected to know. That's just the way it is. So, what of those two options would you prefer? Would you like to spend a Saturday morning on the beach, or would you rather be a teacher?
I spend the morning on the beach.
You'd be happy to do a beach cleanup? Okay.
Yes.
So how often do we do it? Once a month? Is that the schedule? Do you know?
It's once a month. It's the first Saturday of every month.
First Saturday of every month. So we'll give you 2 months within which to accomplish that.
Sure.
And there'll be a form, or you have a form to give her relative to that, right?
Yes, I have a schedule.
Okay. So Michelle will give you the information necessary to get set up. Okay.
Sure.
And then I'm going to reduce the fine by 50%.
Thank you.
But you'll also be responsible for the costs associated with that, which are $9.60. So it's going to be $50 plus the $9.60, and you'll have 30 days within which to pay that.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate the fact that you come around to understanding the situation.
I did. I realized afterwards that I was home, but at that time I was just ready to get to where I was going. Thank you.
That was an expensive decision, but it could have been.
Yes.
Okay. All right, ma'am.
Thank you.
Michelle, I'll give you an order here momentarily. Here you go. Thank you, ma'am. Everybody else get a little education on that topic? Take it and share it. Save somebody else the misfortune of having to either pay a big fine or spend their afternoon here with us. Have a good afternoon. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, jumping to item 6C, Robert Mastrangelo. Did I get it right?
Close enough.
Well,
Thank you.
help me. How do you say it?
Mr. Angelo.
Mastrangelo.
Yeah.
Okay, if you would be sworn, sir.
Yes.
For the record, if you would state your full name and residence address, sir.
Yes. Robert Mastrangelo. We just moved. 173 Wellington Drive in Palm Coast. My license, it's still 76 Southeast Turkey Road. We still have the house in Isles.
Well, happy moving.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let me get, still unpacking. Hold on one second, though. Let me just for the record recite what we're talking about here, and that is that you're on citation number P02560FB, and this was issued on March 30th of this year at about 1:43 in the afternoon, involving a blue Toyota and parking in the wrong direction.
Yes.
On South 8th Street. Now, after having heard what I
Yes.
just shared,
When I got back to the car, so pretty much I have a 15, well, now she's 16 months, by the time she's 15-month-old, and we've been in and out of urgent care hospitals, and the 29th, which was actually that previous night, we got out on the 30th in the morning, we had to go to Halifax to the hospital. Didn't know it then, but when we went back again 8 days later, found out she had pneumonia. And so that day, she was just so antsy, so we wanted to get out of the house. She was crying. And without even thinking,
well,
she's 15 months. Now she's 16 months old.
baby.
Yep, little baby. So
Back then, she was a little younger.
yeah, but I'm not younger. So long story short, I wasn't even thinking about it. It was kind of like survival mode, sleep deprived. And normally I don't do something foolish like that because I know it is. There was no one on the street. There was no one that was parked, and so I didn't even register. When I got back to the car and saw it 20 minutes later, I said, I'm a fool. And my wife is like, I tried telling you. And I said, I didn't even hear you. I'm sorry. So in that time too, we had I teach middle school. We had a middle school dance she was going to go to, and that was the 26th. Couldn't go to that because she was sick, so all of my kids were disappointed. So it was like, there was a lot going on in that whole time frame, and I know I did wrong with that, and it's...
You know what the irony is, because I have a photograph from the police officer, and the irony is, unlike the situation we just heard, I can see there was a lot of available parking.
It's everywhere. I know.
All right, well, to spare you spending any more time on this issue, I'm willing to do the same thing as I did for her. I can't forgive it completely.
I understand.
But of those two,
What about
options?
What about the one talking of the teaching style one? What does that entail?
Well, what it would involve is you kind of stepping into my shoes as an educator and sharing with a number of drivers when I got a ticket for parking the wrong direction. But in the process of appealing it, I learned a lot. I learned, one, that I could have been charged with a variety of moving violations, which would be far more harsh as an outcome.
Correct.
And I also learned why it's not permitted because of the safety issues, and you can, walk through what those are. If you're willing to do that, it's going to be a handful of drivers. It's not going to be one or two. It's going to be a healthy number, but you have 60 days within which to accomplish that. It can be family, friends, neighbors, anybody, employees, fellow employees, whatever. But you do have to indicate who they are and when you did it with them. Well, there's a form that goes with the order that you would turn back in.
I mean, is it like 15, 20, 10?
About 20.
About
I think 20 is a good number because guess what? You're doing those folks a favor.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're...
And guess what? We never learn more than when we teach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm willing, and it was something I had to get the commission to agree to allow you to do in lieu of having to, pay dollars.
Right. Okay.
You good with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, so I'm going to reduce the fine by 50%, so
Thank you.
It'll be a bite, but not as bad, but you do have the cost, which is also
$9.60.
Fair enough?
Fair enough. Thank you so much, sir.
I appreciate your concession,
your time.
and I'm sorry that your child was sick. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with a sick child.
she got hand, foot, mouth after, too, from the hospital. So, yes.
Even now?
Well, she just finally recovered. And then I got it. And so we've been, literally like 2 weeks ago.
As a parent, you're going to get everything that your kid
Yes.
ever gets.
Yes, it was like 2.5 months of just...
Well, is it really behind you?
Thankfully,
That's
yes.
a far more serious
Yeah.
consideration than anything we're worried about.
Yeah, it's all finally back, and actually tomorrow's my last day with the kids, so I get the summer, and now I can kind of get settled into our house and spend more time with my baby, so
All right,
that's
well,
what I want to do.
we'll hope for no more events like that. I had, when I was in a similar point in time, my son, who is now in his late 40s, was hospitalized and nobody knew what was wrong and it was serious. So I get it. So.
It kind of sends you into survival mode.
And the worst part is that you're helpless. You really don't have the ability to change what's happening, and that's a terrifying feeling. Yeah, I get it.
There's no one thinking.
Well, there's just too many talk one after another. I'm like, okay. Be break.
Yeah. Well, we'll hope that there's no more. We're glad that it's in the rearview mirror. You're more than welcome, and thank you for your contrition. There you go. Have another one for me to sign. Bring it back. That's all right. And, take the educational effort to heart. The worst thing in the world would somebody pulling out and having an accident.
Yeah, that happened. Pull out, driving straight, pull out the left turn, they shouldn't have, and I was on a camper, not like this.
I hear you. Okay. You're more than welcome. Good luck to you. Drive safe. Okay, have a good afternoon. Okay. All right. Next item we're going to hear is P02526FB Brian Hanson. Mr. Hanson.
Hi, hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
If you could, please be sworn.
Yes, I do. You're welcome.
Would you state your full name and residence address for the record, please?
Brian Hanson, 141 Oak Lane, Flagler Beach.
Okay, so you are a local.
I am now. Yeah, I am now. I love it here, so, yeah. I've been in Flagler County for about 5 years now, so.
Well, let's just briefly run through why you're here. You were cited on March 22nd of this year around 2:37 in the afternoon, driving a Toyota Prius, which you parked in handicap parking, as charged. What do you want to tell me about that?
Well, first I want to tell you I would never deliberately park in handicap parking because I come to the beach a lot and I exercise. I walk like 5 miles a day. I ride my bike 15 miles a day. I've been past that sign on the side of the restaurant there probably 100, 200 times. I just didn't know it was a handicap parking. And because I didn't see the head of the sign, I gave some pictures to you, and I'm not disputing that I didn't park there. I parked there. The funny thing is, the police were handling a disturbance at 7-Eleven across the street at the same time I parked there, and I was like, I didn't notice the sign. I've just never noticed the sign. It looks like it's on the restaurant property, and it's not, it doesn't meet state standards either about being at the head, and I'm not trying to finagle this whole thing.
It'd be pretty tough.
Yeah.
And I think we can agree and understand that a sign placed at the head of the spot,
the blue lines,
up being more of a hazard than, I get it.
When I came back and looked at it, I said, wow, there's a handicap sign there. And I've been past there so many times. I go to that 7-Eleven, I don't know, 3, 4 times a week, so.
It's an expensive fine.
It's an expensive fine, yeah.
And
so that's why I did research.
I understand, and I appreciate what you've done. I also appreciate your acknowledging that it was a handicap spot, correct?
Yes, I definitely acknowledge that.
Well, I think we understand what the policy behind prohibiting parking in a handicap spot is. For one thing, I've had a number of people come in here that have been cited for parking improperly because of the fact that there were no handicap spaces available for them to which they were entitled.
Right.
And it presented a number of issues, and because of their handicaps, they did the best they could, ended up getting cited as well. I'm inclined because the fact that you're being contrite, and that makes a big difference with me. Contrition goes a long way to mitigate this for you and give you the option to do community service or an educational effort as well. Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, I'm fine with doing. I do the beach cleanup anyway every day, so yeah, I take a bucket and clean and whatever. I like to walk the beach, so I don't mind. I'll do either though. Whatever's good, whatever's needed.
Do both.
I don't have a problem with that.
And the educational effort could be, as I indicated previously, family, friends, neighbors, anybody, but they have to be drivers.
Right, that's not a problem. Yeah.
Okay. And let's do both, and I'm going to reduce the fine by 50%.
Okay.
But there's also the minimal cost, which is, I guess, what is it, $9.60 also?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it's better than the bigger bite. And the fact that you're out on the beach anyway, as you say, that's great. Thank you for doing that. We all should do it. I've been a kid going to the beach ever since I was a kid, and make a point of, if there's trash, I pick it up. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Leave the environment better than when we're done than what we found.
Right.
So
of course.
Thank you for doing that. At the end of the day, it's not somebody else's responsibility, it's all of ours.
Right.
So,
No doubt about it. So I see a lot of people out there doing it. I think they should paint some blue lines there though, and I'm not here to debate that, but
I don't disagree with you. The sign maybe is less conspicuous and perhaps would be beneficial.
Yeah.
If you're a resident, voice that with your commissioners.
Right.
And let them know that, it'd be helpful and it would make a difference.
Yeah, because if they make these policies, they should really follow that. And that's like a state guideline too. Like there's a parking lot down the street that doesn't have the sign 60 inches off the ground. It's like 3 foot down. So I'm not here to debate all that.
The fact that you went to school on this topic share that information when you raise the desire to improve. Because I don't think these folks, when they're sitting here, are averse to positive input, and that's positive. So take advantage of it. You know what, Holly? I'll just 10 individuals.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since you're doing the beach cleanup as well, I'll reduce it by 50% on the number of folks. But don't be reluctant if you feel so inclined to talk to more.
Yeah, thank you.
And sir, is it 30 days to pay the fine and then 60 days to complete? Okay.
To do the community service.
Thank you.
And the education. Yeah. If I'm not clear.
Am I seeing you?
I'm gonna give you the paperwork here in just a second. Thank you, though. And you as well. Is there a problem on the dates? Is that gonna be difficult?
Well, I do a baseball camp for kids in Long Island, New York for all summer, so
You make it 90 days.
9.
that would be great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Get it done. If I can do it this weekend.
Okay, so.
I-
And I'm calling somebody about this, or did you tell me? No, that's if you have any questions, that's me. Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
We're in Long Island.
All the way out in,
Montauk or where?
no, I'm on the other side,
Hamptons?
on the North Fork. Montauk is,
South.
you go through the Hamptons, you
Right.
go to Montauk,
Right.
great fishing house.
So you're on the North Peninsula. That's where the ferry comes in from the far side. Yeah.
I know.
You take that, Orient ferry over to London, you can go to Massachusetts, New Hampshire.
Indeed. And that's a nice part of Long Island for sure.
Doing a baseball camp out there.
Well, you know what? You're doing community service in many respects. Good for you. Yeah, those kids learn from those opportunities. Thank you.
Call you back. You my go-to.
Yeah, I'll go.
There you go. All right.
Like I said, if you forget or
No,
any questions, you can call.
I'll deal with that. Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well. Thank you, sir. Drive safe.
Yeah, I will. I know where that handicap zone is.
Okay. All right. The next item is matter P02626FB, Lori Parsons. Yes, ma'am. If you would step to the podium, please. Hi, ma'am. If you'd be sworn.
Yep.
Greetings.
Greetings.
If you would, state your full name and residence address for the record.
My name is Lori Parsons, and I live at 2 Dogwood Street in Flagler Beach.
Okay, so you're a local.
I've been a local here for 35 years. In
Okay.
the same house.
Well,
Before everything got built up. Yeah.
let me just briefly recite why you're here. You are appealing a citation issued on April 14th of this year at about 10:38 in the morning, where a Nissan Frontier, red in color, was cited for parking where prohibited by official signs. And I'm looking at the photograph of that, and it appears that you were parked on the dunes.
Oh no, I would never do that.
No,
Oh my God, no.
Okay, well, in addition to the signage, I'm looking at photographs submitted by the police officer. And you see these white stripes? They're partially obscured by sand, but there's signage. But see those stripes?
Yeah,
You know what those mean? Do you have any idea?
I know that. Absolutely, you don't go near the dunes. I know that.
Well, those stripes indicate that that is an area that is not available for parking or driving. I'm going to assume that that is a spot that is reserved, and I do see there is pavement. The sand is blown over, it always does.
Yes, sir.
And as a resident, I'm sure you understand the critical nature of preserving the dunes.
I am like
I'm sure.
a preacher on that.
Yeah. So, but those stripes mean you can't park there, you can't drive there. And as I started to say, that area is likely preserved for first responders to be able to access the beach quickly in the event of an emergency. For instance, fire rescue, ambulance, police, fire truck, they need space. And they don't have time to look for a place to park. This is reserved for that emergency situation because otherwise they're going to be blocking traffic and stopping everything in the road while they're attending to whatever crisis they're there for. So that's why you got ticketed. That's not permitted. And you'll see these kind of markings in a lot of places on the interstate. There'll be areas that are demarked that way, meaning you can't go there because it's hazardous or whatever. In this instance, I'm pretty sure it's so that first responders can get to the beach. But I mean, I'm sure that you didn't intend to do what you did, but
I didn't. I know where the rules and regulations of Flatbird Beach. I've been here half of my life, and
Yeah.
I've never got a ticket in my entire life.
well, it's only a parking.
I know, but I know, but.
And it's unlike wrong direction,
Oh,
moving violation. But I have a feeling the last thing you'd want to do is make it difficult for first responders to be able to react to an emergency in as expedited a manner as possible.
absolutely.
All right. How about, I'm being generous today. How about we mitigate the fine by 50%, and you would want to do some community service as well.
That's.
Which would you like to do? If you like going to the beach,
I'll do the beach cleanup.
you'll do beach cleanup.
Yeah.
Okay, and you'll have a couple of months within which to accomplish that.
I will.
All right. But don't be afraid to share what you're learning about the importance of those areas not being obstructed with parking. You may save somebody's life. Somebody's having a heart attack, or they're caught in a rope current, or they're, being pulled in from drowning. That's what it's there for.
I would never do anything
I-
intentional to hurt
Yeah.
anything.
Well, the guy could be you or somebody you care about. So you don't strike me as someone who's out there ignoring what's responsible. So,
Absolutely not.
okay, ma'am.
Reduced by 50%, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So I'll make it, I think it's $30.
Yeah,
Is the ticket for 60?
It's a $60.
Okay, it's hard to tell on my screen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So 30 plus the $9.60. It won't be quite as bad.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And you have the beach cleanup form? Okay. Thank you. Hang on one sec. We'll get you an order and the information you need.
Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, I'm being outdone. That one outdoes me. Thank you. All right. Our next item is P02573FB. Mr. Bailey. Come on up, sir. And if you would.
I do. All right. Gary Allen Bailey. Hi, sir.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. If you would, for the record, your full name and.
Gary Allen Bailey, 7 North Ocean Palm Villas, Flagler Beach.
All right. Well, yours is an interesting situation.
Yes, sir.
And I've looked at what you submitted, and I guess the first question, and well, let me just recite for the record. You're here on a citation issued on April 4th of this year, about 7:17 in the morning, where a Jeep, assume it's a Grand Cherokee,
Grand Wagoneer.
yeah, was cited for parking in the street, but the street is part of the road network at your
Correct.
your HOA or condominium or
Yes.
townhouse
Yes.
community, correct?
Yes.
And with all that said, do you have anything that says from your association that you can park anywhere as long as it doesn't obstruct?
That's the policy. Do I have it in writing with me? No, sir. But we were instructed that we could park anywhere as long as it did not block the mailboxes or impede traffic getting through. We could even park in our neighbor's driveway because it's all considered common area, so whoever gets to the driveway first wins. Of course, we don't enforce that, but
Well, I know what the policy is when you're dealing with a multifamily community as yours is. Those roadways become means of access to the properties for first responders.
correct.
Which is where the citation was, the basis for the citation is it's fire trucks or ambulances or the police, whoever, if they have to respond,
Mm-hmm.
are not impaired in their ability or impeded in their ability to do so because of vehicles that are parked.
I understand.
And-
I believe if you look at the
Well,
picture,
well,
it wasn't blocking any, it wasn't impeding anything.
Yeah, the saving grace in your instance, and I had the photos were submitted by the police officer. It's close that whether a
Yeah,
fire truck.
The policy also is we're not allowed to park on any grass.
Yeah.
So I park as close to that as I can.
Yeah.
Garbage trucks get through, and we don't have any issues with that, so.
Yeah. It's on the edge,
I'm not arguing it's tight, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to be unfair to you. It's not my objective.
Magistrate Pop, if I may, I don't mean to interrupt you, but if it's your contention, sir, that it's a private road, the city will defer to you, but we would be willing to continue this potential appeal for the respondent to gather evidence if he wants to submit evidence proving that it's a private roadway.
Do you have any? Is there anything were you looking on your phone?
I have a picture of a sign with me that says that it's private residence.
If you would show that to the city attorney, please.
The reason why
Yeah.
I'm willing is because I looked at the plat of the subdivision last night,
Yeah.
and there is a dedication within the original plat
Is that,
to public roads.
so that those roads are public
Yes,
right away?
so absent, which is why I'm not presenting it as evidence, because I haven't had time to go and make sure that those roads that dedication hasn't been vacated or
Right.
abandoned.
Right.
So absent that, they're public roads.
If you would show that to the city attorney, please.
Yes, it says private property, but that notwithstanding, within a subdivision, you still can dedicate the roads within a subdivision, even though there could be areas of private property. I mean, public use, so that the roads are maintained by the city.
Not. And this is from my HOA because I wanted to know.
Right.
We need it, and I'm not trying to make this a big
Right.
deal.
I'm not either.
I think it's important because
Yeah.
hang on 1 sec. What the city attorney is saying is that when that project was initially being developed, it was submitted for platting, which is putting it of record as how it's going to be laid out.
Mm-hmm.
The roads, as part of the plat, according to her research, were dedicated as public right-of-way. Notwithstanding its private property, those roadways are, by the terms of the platting, which was submitted for approval and blessed by the county and or the city,
Yeah,
that makes those roads subject to all the ordinances that are applicable to regular city streets.
And that's fine.
But, I'm sure that you're going on the basis, what you've been doing is going on the basis of what you understood within your
Absolutely. And beyond that, sir, if you look at the street of the violation, it doesn't have a street. It has my address as the violation. So there's not even a street that I've violated.
Don't oversell yourself. You're already on good stead with me. Because I'm sure that no one else in your community is aware of the dedication. That would have been done by the developer back whenever the property was initially being created. But
yeah, the plot was difficult to find.
it was what?
The plot was difficult to locate. I mean, I have it, but.
Yeah. So here's, I'm going to go back to policy again because I think that's what's really important, and that is that, parking in the street creates a hazard for first responders or other traffic or whatever. I don't have a solution for what your community is going to do about the parking situation looking forward.
Mm-hmm.
what I'm gonna do is, I'm denying your appeal, but I'm not imposing any sanction. Does that make sense?
I believe I understand
Because
what you're
I
saying.
believe it is a violation, but I don't think that it warrants a fine
Okay.
under the circumstances.
All right. I appreciate that.
But your association needs to understand that they're bound on those roads to the same rules as out here.
That's fine.
It's important that that message be communicated. And
Okay.
so you may become the messenger on that. And if they feel that's a problem, then they may have to initiate the process to seek to have that dedicated right of way vacated and goes back to being truly private property.
Sure.
Okay?
All right.
So, just because it's dedicated, I don't know, you're saying the city's not maintaining it or the county's not maintaining it, but as a matter of law, it still constitutes public right of way.
I'm not an attorney by any stretch.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to.
Yeah, I know. I understand. Thanks for dumbing it down.
And it's something, I assume your association has counsel. And, maybe something you may want to bring to their attention just so that it can get sorted.
Honestly, when I talk to everybody in the neighborhood, nobody's ever got a parking ticket in the neighborhood before that anybody can remember. I'm just the lucky guy that day, I guess.
Well, believe it or not, the officer who cited you was actually, doing his job properly. It's certainly not anything he did wrong. It's just this is a confusing situation because it goes back to something way before any. When was the plat?
It says 1775. I think it means 1975.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sure it would
the
have been.
development was built in the mid-'80s, so that sounds
Yeah,
right.
so when it was originally being created, we're going back 50 years.
Right.
So it was before anybody who lives there lived there. But it was something that the developer committed to, and I'll give you the background behind why he did. He figured, well, if the roads need to be improved, we won't have to pay for it.
Right.
So it may be a difficult decision for your association. Well, what do we want to do?
Their argument was when they repaved the roads in the last 5 years, the city would pay nothing towards it. And they were
And the city wasn't aware.
oh, well, maybe we should bring that to the city's attention.
I'm not going down that path.
Right.
Yeah. For clarifying, if there was a vacation or abandonment of those roadways subsequent to this dedication, then I just didn't come across the public record.
Sure.
So, if you would have brought evidence of that, I would have said, oh, okay, so.
Way above my skill.
Yeah, so moving forward, if this becomes an issue again, now you know what to either do or advise somebody, is to just kind of locate those records.
And repeat what it is that would need to be located?
Yeah, so you basically give up the right to owning it, and the HOA would typically petition to say, hey, we want to maintain these roads, we want to have jurisdiction over these roads, basically. Okay. And then if the city approves it, then.
Okay, well, I'll let them know, especially when they want to do maintenance, if
Right.
they want to investigate that more.
Right.
All right.
So we'll give you. Do we have a?
Yep.
We'll get. So again, I'm not. Based on the information that I have available, it was a violation, but I'm not going to impose any sanction.
Okay.
But I'm probably going to have you going off as a messenger to your association.
Oh, absolutely.
There's stuff that needs to be looked into.
Okay.
How about that?
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You're more than welcome. And I get it. It's.
Do I need to sign anything?
Well, we'll give you a copy of the order. I might want to let me add something here. There you go. Yeah, take care of that.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Good luck to you.
Okay, sir, the appellant in the first case has requested to speak with you.
If you would, please step up. Yes, ma'am. Just for the record, we're referring to matter number P02566FB, Rosa Fragoso. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have a question, and I'm sorry that I have to come back for that, but I'll
That's
try to.
okay. But you know what? I'm not here on, sitting on formality. This is supposed to be a comfortable environment.
Great. So, do you consider, or is there an option for me to get the whole 100% of the violation taken out if I do those community services like clean the beach and do the teaching? Is that an option for me to do?
As opposed to paying a fine?
As opposed to pay any fine. I mean, I just paid the $9.60 for.
Let me ask you a question. What is your financial situation?
I'm on Social Security, so it's like very limited, and
Okay. I would consider doing something along those lines. Do you have your copy of the order?
yes,
If you would, give that to Michelle. You know what? If you have limited income, I'm not trying to be harsh. The only thing I'm going to require you to pay is the costs.
sure, yes, that would be great. Yes,
But no more wrong direction parking.
no, and whatever I have to teach, that will be one of my things that I'll say. I'm parking in the wrong direction. I don't even know what I'm gonna, I'm gonna do to teach, but I'll.
Well, do you play bridge, or do you go to bingo, or you go to church? Those are environments where you would have an opportunity to talk to folks and educate. Because what I'm going to do is you get to do the beach cleanup.
Yes.
In fact, I'm going to twice, two Saturdays. I've got to do something that reflects a sanction. If we're not going to be, paying, I'm going to ask you to do extra community service. Okay.
Yes.
And
Twice within what time frame?
90 days.
90, okay.
Yeah. Am I making this tough for you?
No?
And then on the number of drivers. Yeah. And I'll initial all the changes. So you'll be only obligated to pay the $9.60.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I accept all my responsibilities, and I'm sorry.
Well, it's not about the money. The money is so that people remember that there was something they shouldn't have done.
Right.
And the wallet is where people tend to remember. But in lieu of that, again, if your situation sits with me in a proper sense. Okay?
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
let's do, since we're doing 2 beach cleanups, we'll keep it. You like going to the beach anyway, right? Okay, so it's not so bad. It, you know, make it a pleasant. It's not hard work. It's just spending the time walking the beach, and if you see trash, and they give you a bag and a gloves or a grabber. I'm just gonna go right down the line. Okay. Thank you. I assume you have no problem with that. Okay. I should have asked, but
No, I would have said not at all. I think that's more than fair.
you're more than welcome, ma'am. Good luck to you. Okay. All right. We are rolling along, and we're now into our new cases for code enforcement, and the first one and only one is EEN 26-0141, and that's involving Dean Osterloh at 2201 North Ocean Shore Boulevard. And it's my understanding that the city and the respondent have arrived at a resolution, but which would close the matter, but is it Mr. Greco, as a adjoining property owner, would like to be heard. So why don't you fill me in on what the status is if I have any misunderstanding?
No, as you articulated, my understanding as well is that the violations have been cured. So, stipulated order of compliance has to acknowledge that the violations have been cured, has been prepared. And so as far as the city is concerned, the case is closed.
Okay. Well, Mr. Greco's here, and I'm aware that he wants to be heard, and anything relative to this needs to be on the record. So if you would please step up to the podium, sir, and be sworn.
Yes.
If you would please state your full name and your address for the record, sir.
My full name is Brent Krigo. My address is 133 Bridgeport Road, Daytona Beach Shores, Florida.
And that's not adjacent to the property in question.
The property is a lot, sir, and it's 2205 North Ocean Shore Boulevard,
Okay.
Flagler Beach, 32136.
Okay. Which you are the owner of?
Yes, I have a package I'd like to give to you and walk through it. I'm going to stay within my boundaries. I'm going to stay within my box. It's a 50 by 110 square foot lot,
Yeah.
and I'd like to walk through what has occurred and where we're currently at today.
All right,
Because
let me share with you my understanding so that we can try to keep this as brief as possible. For one thing, right at the outset, if the city and the respondent have resolved whatever issues that involve code enforcement or code violations, my jurisdiction is very limited. I don't have the ability to create an issue where one is non-existent as far as the city's concerned. I want to afford you the opportunity to explain to me what concerns you have if they're continuing. My understanding was that this originated as an encroachment with some of structures that were, attached or built on the property in question that may have encroached or did encroach on your property. Is that correct?
It's correct, but there's more detail to it, and there's a situation here where I have laid out 14 exhibits, very clear. I can be very succinct. I'm going to stay within my time.
Does the city receive those? Does the city have those?
I have given the city, actually it's all from the city. It's the city's documents. Everything I'm going to tell you is what the
I
city
don't have them in
has.
front of me. I didn't know. I don't have them in front of me because I didn't know he would be presenting them today.
I would just like to...
Do me the courtesy of summarizing your concerns. I don't have the ability to sit here and go through 14 exhibits.
Okay.
Especially when this matter is being concluded. And I'm not trying, please understand, I'm not trying to adversely affect your desire for some sort of cure if you feel that there's a problem. But keep in mind that my jurisdiction is limited to what the city presents to me for consideration. And at this point, they're saying there is nothing that I am to consider as a violation. There are no violations as determined by the city. I may not be, and probably am not, the correct forum for issues that you may have, because I don't have jurisdiction.
I would like just to address the NOV. I'm not asking about any other issues. There's an NOV that was documented.
Yeah.
I presented to the city. The city has this, so if you're okay, I can give you some of these so we can just look at them. I'll give you the short version of it.
Sure.
And I won't go through
And again, I'm not trying to cut you off. That's the last thing I want to do. I respect that you have concerns because, if your property's been encroached upon, I understand what encroachments can involve and they can affect your title, et cetera, down the road. I get it.
May I approach with two documents?
Sure. Show them to the city attorney, please.
City Attorney, this is the complaint that we filed.
Okay.
About a 0-foot setback and the multiple issues in the 0-foot setback. There were stairs, there was concrete stair slabs, there was garbage cans, tippy carts, there was AC units, and there was fence around the AC units. Most of that was taken care of.
Okay.
So the situation we have now is that Rick McFadden, who retired just recently.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah, can you explain those things from the podium so that that way it goes on the record? So if you can back up to where you started that explanation. What
We filed a complaint. The complaint is called a 0-foot setback because the property that's next to us is 2201 North Ocean Shore Boulevard. Okay? And what we put in the setback issue was we wrote down that there's stairs coming down, there's a slab in the stairs, there's actually garbage cans, there's fences.
All of these improvements were on your property?
They were encroaching on our property. So the important fact here is what I was showing the attorney was this picture, which if I could bring it to you, sir.
Yeah.
This picture is very definitive now. Rick McFadden, who was retired here, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, he said as soon as that fence goes down, go get a survey string with Kuhar, your survey company. It's a construction survey company. And he said, run that string off those stakes, and you will see exactly where your property line is.
Right.
You'll see that line. Then you can go back to the city and you can say, hey, you have an NOV right now. The NOV was supposed to cover any encroachments on the property. That's what it said. It said encroachments. In fact, if you read the NOV, it says encroachments of the HVAC. So specifically,
let me take a second. Let me look
Okay,
at
sir.
the original.
Page 71.
I'll open mine up too.
As written, the condition giving rise to the violation is described as follows. Fence around the HVAC encroachment to adjacent property located at 2205 North. Stairs located on the northeast side of the building do not show a permit and possibly can be encroaching property. And that is the violation as noticed.
Indeed. So,
So we're clear, fence around the AC and stairs.
but the NOV clearly was written for two specific items. It specified the stairs because they tried to find a permit and they couldn't find a permit on the stairs.
Correct.
But there is a stair slab that wasn't even addressed. That's the first thing. The second thing is the HVAC. It's kind of like you got a car, but you don't have tires on it. Well, the fence that went around the AC units are still encroaching on our property.
Do you have a survey that you obtained that reflects those encroachments?
Indeed. Thank you for asking.
I mean,
Surveyors don't always agree. Keep in mind, that just so you recognize that.
The important fact here is I brought both surveys. I brought the survey that we had done for our construction, which is the construction survey with all the detail.
Yes, sir.
And then the property owner at 2201 North Ocean Shore Boulevard had a survey done.
Do you have a copy of that survey?
They're almost identical surveys, sir.
Okay. Good.
I'm confused as to what violation, like the violations that were in the notice of violations have been cured.
Right.
The encroachment, I would need to understand what code provision this violates.
In other words, I understand where you're going, Holly. Go ahead and review that. I'll look at the.
This is the highlighted part of all the encroachments,
Okay.
okay? And it shows 5 AC units. 4 of those AC units are encroaching our property. Not only
Is this a multifamily property?
single family, sir.
And there are 5 air conditioning units?
Thank you for bringing that up. A special exception was created for this property in 2011. Penny, who's the city clerk, sent me the whole special exception. In 2011, that 2201 North Ocean Shore Boulevard property said they're going to have a coffee shop, a women's boutique for cutting hair, and a timeshare selling business. They were in trouble with compliance because they got written out because they set up a time-sharing business without a permit. And the property was a TC, commercial. It wasn't a general commercial. The city approved it as a special exception in 2011. The survey that was done in 2011 for the special exception is the same survey company, which I brought them both today, is the same survey company that did the survey for the recent activity. That activity is in 2201.
This is commercial property fronting A1A, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your property is also commercial property?
We're TC Commercial right alongside it.
Okay.
So, sir, so what happened in 2011, they said nothing's going to change. And if you look at the original survey, all the survey shows is the encroachment of the stairs, the encroachment of the slab, and it shows an AC unit with a big fence around it, which has been gone for years. There's a mini split there right now. They didn't even change the survey when they submitted it.
How long have those encroachments been in place?
I would say that the AC units, because Rick McFadden gave me all the files for the permits on them, and one was unpermitted. They got caught doing that even. Those were started in 2017.
Well, let me, having done a substantial amount of real estate practice over the years, encroachments are not the city's responsibility to cure.
Agree.
They are a private matter between property owners. And the dilemma that I see that you have is that you may be barred from curing those encroachments by virtue of the passage of time since they were in place. And you go with the new or should have known position on when they were first recognized as encroachments, because left unremoved without appropriate action being taken and having the city try to fix a situation that is a personal, private dispute between adjoining property owners, I don't think, tolls the statute of limitations on the necessity to cure before that property owner is entitled to leave those encroachments as is, and they just become a title defect for you that you can't cure.
Sir, I worked for Lennar as a vice president in Miami, handled projects all over the United States. I was a vice president for Honeywell, retired from Honeywell. I have done a lot of projects. I've never seen a situation like this in my career, and I'm 64 years old.
I respect your background and experience. I'm just sharing with you what I see as the situation, just on the information that I already, you've shared, and if you built on your property and encroached on the adjoining property owner, and they did not take the initiative to bring a civil action to remove your encroachment within and 7 years comes to mind as the window of time that you probably maximum would have to do so, that, and I'm just drawing on memory, but you may not have they would not have the ability to force you to cure, and inversely in your situation, because those encroachments have been there without you filing an appropriate action for the removal in circuit court, you may be left without a remedy. I'm not giving you legal advice. You need to consult your own counsel, but quite frankly, I think that's the path you need to walk, because it's not the city's responsibility to remove encroachments. The city took action based upon, your complaint to resolve what has been resolved, to my understanding, correct?
Correct, that's correct.
But I don't think that they don't have the authority to go in and do more if there is more that's there.
I would like to respectfully respond to that,
Sure.
that comment. I appreciate your input, but I'd like to respectfully comment on it.
Please keep in mind,
Mm-hmm.
at this point, based on the agreement that the city has reached with that property property owner. I don't have jurisdiction. All I can do is, but I'm affording you this opportunity because I understand you're concerned.
The NOV that the city wrote, whoever wrote this NOV, clearly stated in the NOV, and they know what's going on. The statement says, the condition giving rise to the violation is described as follows.
Right.
Fences around the HVAC encroachment. They're acknowledging HVAC encroachment. And Rick McFadden, who retired now, which sad he did, he said, as soon as the fences go off it, you're going to see the rest of the encroachment. The city will have to remove it. It is a code enforcement matter. The discussion happened in the meeting we had, except the planning director said, no, this is civil. So we sent a message to the city planner and said, hey, is this a civil matter or a code enforcement matter? We get an email, and I think he's behind me right now, from Mr. Gifford, and he states to us, I spoke to, I'll read it to you. Mr. Kriegel, I discussed the issues with Chief Building Official Richard McFadden, Planning Lou Peter McLean, City Engineer Bill Freeman. The way things have been explained to me is that the stairs and equipment on your property is a civil issue. It does not involve code enforcement. This was sent to me on February 23rd, sir. The city made some decisions on their own after sending this out. Then they decided, wait a minute, the stairs need to be removed. Didn't tell me that. Stairs need to be removed. Oh, and then the fences. Let's take the fences out. Well, the AC units are just as far out as the fences were, sir. There's only a 2.6-inch setback on that property. All the city has to do today, all I'm asking for, and very simple, I own a 50 by 110 lot. That's all it is. I'm asking the city have them either move or remove these AC units so I can have my 50-foot wide lot back in my possession. The city can't give away my land. That's what I'm asking today. I'm asking for a justification of my ownership of that land. That's all I'm asking for.
Well,
May I respond?
give me 1 second. I can't issue notices of violation.
But I didn't hear what?
That is not within my realm of authority. I don't issue notices of violation. I can't do that. I can't do that. That is an action that comes from the city itself. I'm not the city. I am here as an independent jurist to hear matters that arise. But this one, according to the city, has been, to their satisfaction, resolved. Now, if you're disenchanted with that, then I think your avenue is you need to appear before the commission to say, I don't think that the code enforcement issues have been fully resolved. I can't issue a notice of violation. I only hear matters that are presented to me as violations or alleged violations. I'm not the right forum. This
Magistrate can handle small civil issues. This is a small civil issue. This is for AC units.
So I hear issues of violation of ordinance. That's the scope of my authority. I don't resolve civil disputes. That's not my authority. And if you think to the contrary, I ask you to present the state statute that creates authority for a special magistrate. I know what it says. And with all due respect, I know you're frustrated. It's very obvious. But this isn't the forum. If the city issues new notices of violation and they're not cured, then it'll come back to me based upon a violation of city ordinance. But in the absence of that, I can't fix your problem. I don't have that authority. You know, you're asking me to do something I can't do.
Okay, respectfully noted. So the recap on this is that the city picked what things were in the complaint I filed, and the city picked what they wanted to pick, and the rest of it was just left Mr. Homeowner, go solve your problem. When the city caused its own problem by giving it a special exception, I just need to finish my statement, please, sir, and I'll be quiet, and I can step away from the podium. When the city set a special exception up in 2011, it said there was only 3 businesses in there, and today there's multiple businesses in there. There's garbage cans we had a big drama with the garbage cans. There's a whole story there. I didn't want to get into that. I want to stay in my 4 squares in my 110 by 50 foot wide lot, which the city is not respecting my land. So respectfully, I'll just be quiet and I'll move to the next step.
Please stay at the podium. You know, just bear with us, please. I'm trying to be as accommodating as I can.
You are. I appreciate it. I'm not.
I just don't have. I can't wave a magic wand for you. I don't have that ability. That's the reality here. But what do you want to say, Holly?
I just want to clarify your summary of it. So, you made a complaint and the city investigated, found what they saw to be code violation, wrote a notice of violation, and then worked with the property owner to cure the noted violations. So, I mean, that is as straightforward as it gets. However, if you believe that there are remaining violations on the property, I think that it would be beneficial to, rather than trying to keep this case open and kind of drag it out based on interpretation of the notice of violation, because I think that that seems to be the issue, is the reading of the notice of violation, which that's what lawyers do. All we do is interpret words. And I'm sure based on your career, you have a lot of experience on that as well. So I think it would be beneficial to perhaps make a secondary complaint based on some code violation that you can point to and say, this is how he's violating the code. And then we will open up another case. But absent something that you can point to within the city's code to say, this is what he is violating, here is the evidence and why, the city is bound. Like, we can only do so much. We can only do with what's written in the notice of violation. We investigated it to the city's satisfaction that it was occurring and it has now been cured.
I'll say this on the record.
Okay.
Because it's very important. And I thank you so much, sir. I appreciate everything you said. You were honest and you were straight to the point. I appreciate that. Straight to the record here. I purchased this property in January 2026, so it's not grandfathered in.
So you've only lived
and I have every right to get my land. I have the right to get that land. There's no question about that. The city decided to let me do a conflict, which is a complaint. So I filled the complaint out. What are your complaints? I filled them all out. Then the city picked which ones they wanted to. As that was occurring, and I'd like to say this to you because you're the attorney, this is good, you'll know, maybe you can help me. I want to resolve this. I'm not looking for any action. I just want to get the ACs, move them or remove them. That's it, move or remove. Just give me 1 or 2. The special exception is really clear, and this is by the city and this is the city's code. I can stat you all these codes right now, but I didn't come here to do that. That the use of so designed, located, and proposed to be operated, the public health, safety, welfare, and convenience will be protected. The answer by the 2201 owner was, the use of the property for the business requesting the exception as it would be operated should not have any impact on public in terms of health, safety, welfare, or convenience. That was one of your questions in getting this approved. Your second question was that the use will not cause substantial injury to the value of other property in the neighborhood where it is to be located. Very important statement. Answered by the 2201 with the special exception. This is a small office with business being conducted electronically, and neighbors would probably not even know there was business there. Last one. This is 7. I got all 3 of them highlighted for you if you'd like to take the papers. That use conforms with applicable regulations governing the district where located. answered by 2201. The building currently has 2 businesses operating there. Specifically, it was a coffee shop and a boutique. A 3-person office should conform to the existing use of the building. It was approved.
Based upon those representations.
Indeed. The drawing on it, I made a big one for us because I'm getting old and I can't read this stuff. The drawing on it clearly showed...
You've got company in that respect.
Thank you, sir. The drawing on it clearly showed the encroachment of the stairs. No AC units. There was one little AC unit in the corner. No AC units in 2011. Ironically, in 2017 through 2025, all these new AC units were popping up. I know the law about special exception. If you're out of compliance, you could lose this privilege. This is a very big privilege in cities to give someone special exception for a business. If they default in a special exception, it can be revoked. Plain and clear.
It's at the discretion of the governing body, yes.
Indeed it is. All I'm asking for is, this person that owns 2201 decided to overbuild after the special exception, made multiple investments in AC units. I have multiple pictures here of how he was running his business, which some of this was corrected. Those three pictures the attorney for the city has in front of her, Your Honor, Magistrate.
Yes, sir.
One is a picture of a gentleman hauling out garbage that's leaking out on the ground, all in front of our property. 2 is a picture of them stacking up the garbage. 3 is a picture of, I complained and I said, you shouldn't have that garbage on our property. That's the garbage that should be in some type of a housing container, not a cart or a tippy cart, and it should be in a unit there. The property doesn't have the space for what they're doing right now.
They overbuilt.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. So the last part of this, though, I just want to make it real clear.
Sure.
I'm becoming the guardian for the city on life safety and lawsuits. They actually told him, after they pulled those tippy carts out of our side of the building, on that north side, because the code enforcement, and I hope he's still back there,
John's here.
The code enforcement said, you can remove the tippy carts from the back of the building. You can move them out, but don't go on the neighbor's property. Your magistrate, it's physically impossible. It's a 2-foot 6-inch setback. The tippy cart is as big as this. It's against the wall. As soon as you take one step back, you're on our property line. The city is ignoring everything I'm telling them. So then they told the guy, well, and this is code enforcement in the documents, I have it right here. Code enforcement said, put the tippy carts underneath the stairs. Right there's your picture. Underneath the stairs, there's CO tanks, oxygen tanks. There's physical propane tanks in there. So I wrote a message back. Michelle actually got the email, and I said, you can't park tippy carts underneath a staircase. You're going to have an accident. So where do they move them now? Right where you see. They're parking them in the driveway, in one of the parking spots. The city is ignoring everything I tell them. So now I'm looking at this notice of NOV, and I said, well, there's going to be a magistrate meeting. Why don't I explain to the magistrate what's going on? Because I'm not getting anywhere with the city planner. I'm not getting anywhere with the city administrator. They all told me, goodbye.
If I may.
Yes, sir.
I can't give you legal advice on what you should do, but I will suggest that you need counsel.
Okay.
And they should be hearing what you have to say because they can craft remedies to address the issues you're dealing with.
Isn't it sad in this day and age that the city can't take a simple AC unit? Because all I'm asking right now is, I don't care what he does on that property. Just get those AC units, move it or remove it. That's all I'm asking. I don't want to get into...
They probably need to go on the roof. Because they probably need to go on the roof to be out of the way. But again, this is where you having counsel gives you means to make things happen. Because moving those now may be subject of a civil action for the encroachment, and you know, the other thing, based upon everything you've shared, that strikes me is if you're unhappy with what you have experienced dealing with staff, is you need to speak to their boss, which is this body. And that means getting on the agenda and being heard. But,
For simple air conditioning units, sir, for simple air conditioning, they can be moved right now. I could call 5 AC companies, they can move them back or move them to their side. It's sad that we have to go through legal action to solve simple things in life. Law enforcement's got their hands.
I don't dispute what you're saying, but at this point, as far as the staff is concerned, they have resolved the matters that were subject of the notice of violation, which again, I'm listening to you because I don't want you to feel that I don't have a willing ear. I do. I just don't have the means to fix your situation. It's not within my scope at this point in time. If there's a new notice of violation and it's not cured and it comes here, then yes, then I'll have authority, but I don't have any authority to fix this. I've given you the best direction I can offer that you should pursue, but we're at an impasse because I can't fix this for you today.
This wasn't corrected, and I'm looking at the attorney because I'm saying the language in here is real clear. Fence around the HVAC encroachment. That's the HVAC encroachment. They're handpicking what they want to pick. They're saying, oh, just take the fence out, and then he doesn't have any encroachment. Now you can see more encroachment. You can see the slab sticking out. You can see the unit. So, sir, I will...
What your survey is reflecting is all those AC units physically are on your property, correct?
4 out of the 5, I went and did a video at 2 o'clock prior to the meeting here because I wanted to see how it looks right now because Rick McFadden, bless him, he's not here. He said, do that line. He said, I'll give you a good idea of what you got and, what you don't have. And definitely the survey line shows everything, but the city doesn't want to communicate with me on this. They tell me it's a civil matter when it's not civil. They approved installations of HVAC units with permits. They caught him one without a permit. And here's the disheartening part, Magistrate, is that does the city charge fines when someone does something unpermitted? Normally they do. These stairs that weren't permitted, I went and got from Penny, I went and got the information for the permit. They never even charged the guy a fee for unpermitted stairs.
Well, if they had to obtain a permit, they pay a double permit for curing the absence of the required permit.
They're self-governing, Your Honor. Because they're self-governing is because what they did on the HVAC, they charged them a $100 fine for trying to put it in without a permit. So they're self-governing. They're making changes as they go as to what they want to deal with. I just want to solve it. If you could do something as the attorney, say, hey, you know what, let's get those ACs moved so they're not on his property line, get his land back, then we're done. I move on.
What I would encourage you to do on behalf of the city is to make if you don't want to get counseling, you don't want to make this a civil matter, and if you think it's within the city's jurisdiction, file a secondary complaint. Please point to what these units are in violation of. Like what provision within the code these encroachments are violating. As soon as you do that, and I understand your interpretation of the notice of violation, it can be a difference of interpretation. There can be a follow-up, there can be a secondary complaint, and if you can point to that, then it will be properly investigated. But that's all that the city can offer. Absent that, the city can't do anything because this case has been cured as far as the city is concerned with this property owner. So I don't understand what the potential issue could be with making a follow-up complaint and pointing to what provision.
Why would I need to? I already filed the complaint. It's documented. Everyone needs to understand, time, we're spending time, I'm here again, I'm spending 30, 40 minutes on this. Time is money. I'm trying to get a property built, and I'm getting told, well, do this, now try and do that, and do this, now that won't work. It's like you get 3 steps forward, you go 4 steps back. And that's, I'm sorry that we had to go through it this way. I thought it'd be nice, simple, I'd say, hey, I've got 4 units on I got all the pictures, everything, and
If there wasn't a resolution that the city has arrived at with that property owner over what they believed was the violations, then it'd still be a viable matter for me. But it's not. Again, I have no jurisdiction to fix with the problems that you're raising. I think that you're getting the best advice possible is to, it may mean having to bring it back up again, but that's, this is a low-hanging fruit. File a new complaint, point out what the issues are, and get the process going. I have a feeling it will be expedited. Nobody wants this hanging around ad infinitum.
If I take what I have learned since January of 2026 from the city of Flagler Beach,
sure,
and all this indication which has happened to me as a property owner that's going to build his home there, and the situation I've just gone through, and put this on any type of platform, social media, anyone to talk about this, they would say, what is the city doing to you? Why are they putting you through these steps? Because this situation, I'm going to go home tonight now knowing that, okay, I waited another 60 days with the magistrate, and I waited for the NOV, and then even in the emails or in the documentation from the CEO, they call them, the code enforcement officers, oh, well, we're going to decide, we'll do this on 30 days, I'm going to give them an extra couple more days. It's all self-governing. This is a self-governing situation that I cannot believe I'm standing here talking about it. So I will take the advice, I will go to legal counsel, that's all I can do, and go from there. And I thank you so much for your time, your magistrate.
There's nothing before me that I can act on. Your facts are real. I'm not disputing what you're saying, but I don't have a case from the city at this point, because as far as the city is concerned, it's resolved based upon the interpretations that were made heretofore.
Whoever read the NOV then, or whoever wrote it, it says in there HVAC encroachment. Somebody give me an explanation. What's an HVAC encroachment? Is that a piece of equipment? Is it a screwdriver? Is it somebody standing there?
Your survey, the picture's worth 1,000 words. The survey tells it all. It wasn't just the fence. It was the slab. It was the compressor. It was times 4 or whatever the number. That's the issue. That's
code enforcement knows it. Behind me is code enforcement. They know it. They tell me I can't do anything because the powers that be don't tell me what to do. Well, I can't do anything until the powers that be. But code enforcement.
But John, due respect, he acts on the basis of the direction he receives, and
exactly, that's what I'm saying. I can't blame these guys. Well, they're doing what they're told. They follow what they're told.
So it's not a fault matter for John.
You see the dilemma I'm in now? It's really a big dilemma. I got a multi-million-dollar property I'm trying to build. I'm trying to get the lot 50 feet by 110 feet box. It's just a little box.
I've got a minimum standard lots. You know what? I came to Flagler Beach in 1963.
Right.
And there were dirt streets, and it was tiny homes, beach houses on substandard lots. Everything was platted at 50 by the 110 or whatever the depth is. That was it. And it was nothing like today. It's a big change, huge changes. But please take Holly's advice, file another complaint, take my advice, engage an attorney. Yes, it's spending money, but in the end, there will be value added by doing so. And please understand, it's not that I don't care. I want fairness and justice for the outcome for anything that comes before me. But I don't have any authority to fix your problem as of today.
Well, the NOV clearly stated HVAC encroachments. As a city, you said it's okay. Then what you just said is HVAC encroachments don't include an HVAC. Doesn't include an HVAC. It only included whatever was done on that property that was handpicked by whoever at the, I'll just say the other side, since you're talking.
I don't agree with what you're saying. I think that there was an interpretation that can be challenged, but it's not going to be challenged in the current setting. It needs to be a refreshed matter.
The first TRC meeting we attended on February 19th, Michelle was in attendance. She was actually the note taker of the meeting.
Yeah.
I asked the question, there's tippy carts going across our yard, they're in front of the yard, there's garbage everywhere, there's AC units, there's stairs, there's fences, it's a big mess back there. Who's responsible for this? Who can clean this up? What's the deal with these HVACs? They're encroaching. Our survey showed it. Rick McFadden, Rick McFadden said right to the city planner, that's code enforcement. Went through each one of them.
Yeah.
HVAC, code enforcement. Stairs, code enforcement.
Somewhere,
I get this.
Time out.
So I'm just giving you facts.
I understand, but we're rehashing and rehashing.
No, that's slow stuff.
What? Somewhere in the process, someone with authority made a decision, and the decision doesn't fit with the facts that you're sharing. But it's the decision that's been made. You need to go a different path to resurrect it. And I
appreciate that, but I'm just going to say this as closing. I was told by the city manager, this is all due process. Okay, and I respected that because I started in January. I got the survey done the end of January. I sent a letter to the person that owned the property on February 19th, specifically saying, here's the issue you should resolve. Try to solve it equitably. So there's no issues, don't even talk city, just fix it. Oh no, that was a big, I'll fix it. In fact, in every one of those reports, there's a couple of them, the CEOs behind me, they write in there that the owner of the property says he'll move anything that's on his property. It's in writing, right in all the city docs. The owner writes that. Or I shouldn't say the owner writes it, these guys write it, the guys behind me. He isn't doing nothing. He's playing the city like a fiddle right now. He's got the special exception, so I'll be quiet. I just want to give you my last statement. I thank you so much for the time.
I've been indulgent because, I don't even have a case theoretically that this applies to because it's been settled. But I wanted you to have a window of opportunity to be heard. And the outcome of everything that I've heard is there are avenues that you can pursue. It just doesn't happen to be this one today. That's the reality. And it's not trying to disrespect or deny or disregard anything you've brought to my attention. I just don't have any authority to do what you want done at this point.
And no one does.
I disagree. I won't agree with that. I don't agree. But as of today, this forum doesn't have, I don't have the magic wand.
There was one more thing in there since we did one more final closeout here.
Sure.
In this document, the special exception document, and it's a really good one.
And I think that is something that you should bring to the attention of your attorney, because that may be of not suitable value.
Number 5, the adequate landscaping and screening is provided as required herein to otherwise required. This is to get a special exception. The adequate screening and landscaping. The pictures I've shown you today, the pictures code enforcement looks at, no one in the city of Flagler Beach is overseeing anything I tell them. They're spending more of their time with the owner of that property. So I would just close out, and I thank you for your time and your patience.
You know what? I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to hear what you've had to say. Number one. Number two, in my experience, focus on the critical and what will benefit you. Too much, becomes noise. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Indeed, I'm past it all. Sir, I'm past it.
Well,
The noise has gotten so loud now that it's not even,
well, go get counsel. You need to, because you have, by what I've heard, subtle issues. John's not the enemy. John's a good guy.
no, I didn't say that, sir. I'm just saying, we're boring now. Well, the noise is just that's the visible of the noise. That's where I'm at. I'm with him.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, Magistrate. I appreciate everything.
Again, quite frankly, I hope I see you again with a refreshed matter that I can do something for you.
Indeed.
Okay? Now, we have a few more items on our agenda.
Do you want the stipulated order of compliance for your review?
Yep.
Of course, I have one in here. Aha. Yeah, absolutely.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
And I meant what I said. I hope to see you again.
It is what it is.
Okay, very good. All right. I'm exhausted. As long as you're here, I'm looking at out the windshield.
Do this?
No, I'm just looking for an update on what might be coming around the corner. Can you do it on the record so I can hear?
Actually, we've got a couple of them that we're working on. One of them is about fees, and there's several about fees. We just got another one coming up. The case is still open for fees, but now we got a different case for it, but I don't know that it'll make it here.
So that,
I've extracted a list from our database, and it shows everything. It's just a matter of me pulling the orders from each one and then providing them to Holly, and then we'll move forward with bringing them back on an agenda because they have to be noticed and noticed properly for specifically what we're doing.
I'm just trying to get a feel for what might be in the works for June.
I don't know that right now we have any sitting.
No code matters.
Yeah, we,
Oh, it was NOV yesterday
I
we sent
forgot to
out.
look, but there's status. There's a couple statuses, I
Sure
think,
are.
that are coming back.
Yeah,
If they're resolved, do they need to be heard?
I think it might be, you think 2261 South Flagler, I think that
Yes, I
might be.
think that's the status one, and then there was another one, Sandy Ridge is that one, but
Yeah.
the other one, Vander Holdings.
2038.
Yeah, that one got an extension too.
2038.
And then, do we have anything in the mill for parking?
Yes, 5.
Oh, so there will be,
far,
there
yeah.
will be a hearing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, fair enough. That's all. And if there's any code, then it tags on. That's all. I'm just trying to get a,
No, there will be definitely a hearing in July.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Or June.
June or July? June.
Okay. And then July will take care of itself.
Yes.
All right, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. And anything from you?
No, 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 sir. Even if I had something, it would wait.
Are we done? We're very done. Done over?
Way overcooked. Way overcooked.
You know, I've said enough. Any event. Okay. Then, are we wrapping up?